Hey computer enthusiasts, I'm going to show you a computer case that you don't see very often. It's made in Japan, marketed in Japan. As far as I know, there's no exporters of it. This one's an Alcadia XR-1 with the NRS, which is the noise reduction system. This particular model is a Black Knight because it's black and red. As you can see, it's absolutely filthy with dust, so get ready for a horror show when I open it up. But this is the home server, home theater PC with quite a few hard drives in it. It's a gorgeous, gorgeous case. It's been through a lot of iterations. Used to be liquid cooled with a skull trail and a couple of Intel Confidential Xeons in there running at just ridiculous 4 gigahertz 24/7 for years. I finally got out of crunching and couldn't afford the electric bill anymore. As you can see, it's quite filthy, so get ready for a horror show when I open it up. But when I got this from a fella in Singapore, I asked him, just give me everything you got that comes with it. I want everything. So here's all the original documentation in Japanese. It's just so cool to have all this stuff, I think. All these little details. They really document the hell out of this case. Every little detail, every accessory comes with documentation, comes with a wonderful user's manual. To show you some of the pictures. Just cool stuff. I'll be busting this open to clean it out, probably diddle with it a little bit. But it comes with really cool things like these little DVD covers. Well, you might have seen these kind of things on a Lian Li. I stuck my little duel on there. This is if you didn't want to use those at all, you could block off the whole thing. A friend of mine who got into Soldams as well located this for me. This is so you can put a hard drive in an optical bay, which is a cool thing because I've filled up my hard drives in this thing. Can you believe it? This is for SSDs. That's pretty cool. Put a pair of them in there if I wanted to. This is for running more fans. If you wanted to inside, there's a place for that. And as you can see, it's got all kinds of little covers, and I've been trying to locate. There's also a cover that goes over the whole back. It's a beautiful red anodized piece that shrouds the whole back so it's even quieter, but I found that it really restricted the airflow, so I didn't use it. But I'll just walk around it one more time, and then I'll take it apart and you can have a look at how cool it is. Sorry about my camera. This camera is just about shot. There's so much dust inside the complex lenses that there's going to be little spots all the time, but that's just like... Okay. One of the nice things about this case is the way it comes apart. Really nice construction. This is where your switches and stuff are. You can put in different kind of bay leaf covers, whatever you want. And this is the part that hides the 240 millimeter fans in the front. And I'll tilt it just a little bit so you can see how dusty it's gotten. It's been a while. It just runs all the time in the house. And this has a unique way of drawing in the air. The air comes in through these vents here. There's a double panel. There's this panel and then there's another panel. And then it comes through these slots and then it goes in. And what that does is it catches a lot of dust. So here, let me take these off. It comes with these really special little screws that you cannot replace, so I'm always paranoid when I'm taking this thing apart. I'm going to lose these little screws because they're really beautiful. Here, let me show you just the little details. It's got this wonderful dish shape on it and the beautiful knurling. It's just, I love it. And this slides off like this, comes back and off, and there's a lovely red panel. It feels kind of like felt, but it isn't felt. This is like a noise dampening panel, but it also, as you can see, it's really good at catching dust. So it's kind of like a gigantic dust filter. Then you have a secondary panel that's inside. You take that off, again with these beautiful little dished knurled screws. There's two on the back, two on the side. And then there's these two wonderful knobs. Even the little knobs that you grab the panel with are just gorgeous. And this was brought to me on an airplane, and it got its own seat. It cost me a lot of money to get this. Well, as you can see, plenty of dust. Beautiful little knobs. Dust. This is the IE system. We'd love to have little stickers and documentation over everything. Now, as you can see, it's very simple inside now. I've just got a regular old motherboard in there and a mess of hard drives and a regular old air cooler. I got away from liquid cooling on this thing. I just wanted to make it something simple I could transport around inside the house. And let's bring the camera over here so you can kind of take a look at it before I clean it. It is filthy. But even though this thing's been running for months, as you can see, it didn't collect that much dust. This is really packed up. But the CPU temperatures have been very normal because, you know, it's not overclocked or anything. It just runs as a home theater server, so it just keeps pretty reasonable, like 35 degrees Celsius most of the time. And as you can see, buttloads of hard drives. Not the most beautiful cable management in the world, but reasonable, you know, for what I had to do. This is my Eureka 1210 RAID 5 card that controls all these. So I can run everything in RAID 5 off the card. And just a couple sticks of memory in there. I think I got 4 gigs of memory, nothing special. Some regular old G-Skill, it's my favorite kind. And I have a tiny, tiny little passively cooled graphics card that runs my 52-inch LCD screen just fine. And that's why I wanted, at one time I had tons of crap in here. I had huge graphics cards, huge processors, giant motherboard, 1,000 watt, actually I had 1,200 watt power supply, and you know, the whole thing was just ridiculous. It was kind of overkill to just have sitting around in the house just running all the time, which is why I downsized and downgraded it. I didn't upgrade it or side grade it. I seriously downgraded it with a Gigabyte GA X38. It's just got a regular old Xeon Intel Confidential X3220, which will run at 4 gigs if I want it to, but I don't. It just runs at 3 gigs. It's what it's 3 gigahertz is what it's supposed to run at. And I got a buttload of high capacity drives in there. The drives produce the most amount of heat in the whole thing, I think, pretty much. And just a lot of beautiful little features on it, I think. And even though the hardware is nothing special, I think the case is pretty remarkable. So here, let me take off the top part so I can show you how that works. That's pretty neat too. This is another part of the case that I really like, this design that I like. You take off 4 thumb screws on the back. Again, these are really special little thumb screws that you can't find anywhere, just from Soldam. Got a nice concave face to them, kinds of little details on the milling. Everything on this case is just done with great attention to detail. The aluminum is it's not like Lian Li aluminum. This aluminum is of a higher tensile strength or something. It's like harder. So not like your typical Lian Li type softer aluminum. It's very thick. And you slide this back, pull it off, and see, there's your access to everything. Now you can get at everything you want to get at. I'll show you the top view so you can see what I mean. So when you're building your PC, it's just so wonderful to be able to reach in from the top like this, and gives you a good place to put extra cables and crap. As you can see, I'm using one of the original you know, before it got bought out. Power supplies by, oh geez, I'm having a brain fart, but you guys remember this is what used to be one of the most killer power supplies for its wattage, 750, plenty for this machine, very quiet. Only thing I don't like about it is the anodizing is too different. I mean, the color of this is different than this, but, you know, it's not a show rig, it's just my personal computer, crappy old DVD drive. But as you can see, real snarl of cables in there. But it doesn't really matter. Dust doesn't even collect up in here. This is really the only place that you get dust, so it's not a big deal to clean. I just wanted to show you something. I don't normally take all the hard drives out and everything. You know, these two are run off the motherboard. One of them is the operating system drive. The other one's just a drive for putting backups. It has automatic software that backs everything up all the time. So if there's ever a failure, I can just repair everything. And then I've got all these kind of in a harness. And they just come out of there like that. So then I get all my stuff out of the way. And there's two screws up here that aren't thumb screws. So you got to break out the screwdriver finally. Take two screws off the top. Take one thumb screw off the bottom. And then your whole pack of hard drives can come out. Now, I could put these hard drives in a denser configuration. I mean, right now I've got 6. I imagine I could put a lot more hard drives in here, but I wanted to have space between them for cooling. Okay, this is the heaviest part of the whole rig right here. Just look at that beautiful hard drive tray. That's what I'm talking about. You just don't see things like that. I haven't seen anything like that. I've been working with computers, I guess, since about 2001, modding them and everything, and I've dealt with some very expensive high-end cases, and I still haven't seen anything that matches this kind of anodizing. It is absolutely gorgeous. Even dusty, it's beautiful. And all the holes and everything. And this piece right here would mount right on the edge of that, right up in there, so you could put fans on the other side of your hard drives and also to blow on your memory and stuff if you wanted to, but I haven't found any need for that because I'm not overclocking it or anything like that. But as you can imagine, I could probably mount the hard drives in there denser. I could probably just have them all touching each other, but I don't see any need for that. So let's get to the cleaning part of it now, I guess. I'll probably skip showing you that. It's pretty boring, but I'm just going to blow it out, and then maybe I'll fiddle with some of the cabling. I don't know. The other side panel is identical. They're mirrors of each other. So you just take off, again, the beautiful little screws that you don't ever want to lose. I've tried real hard not to damage this case, but you know, I've got 2 kids and a wife that don't seem to give a shit about anything in my house. They just bang into stuff all the time. So there's little scratches and bumps, and stuff has been spilled on it. Can you believe it? Liquids. And all kinds of little scratches and stuff, which of course I find aggravating. But you know, when you live with people, you just got to put up with a certain amount of you know, whatever they're going to do to you. But I wanted to show you that this also has that same noise reduction panel on it. This panel is really, really heavy. Whatever that dampening stuff is that's covered with that red fuzzy stuff, it is serious. I don't mean to be complaining about my family. I love them, but you know, this case, it was such a big ordeal to get it. It took me like 6 months to wangle it out of the guy, and then finally I paid him, and then I waited like a month for him to finally get somebody that was going to the U.S. from Singapore to transport it for me. And then it had to be shipped even once it got to the U.S. because they were in Colorado, so then it had to make it through shipping, and somehow it survived the whole deal with all the accessories, with no damage. I still keep the original box. I don't know why, but I do. Here's another this big box is what the shroud part in the back. It's tucked away in a tote somewhere I can't get to right now. But yeah, it represented a very sizable investment for me. I don't think I've ever spent this much money on a case. I think it was very close to $800 just for the case, just to get it. So this is the one case that I've never cut any holes in or modified or molested in any way, shape, or form, because I just love it just the way it is. It's everything I want in a top-end case. The construction details, all the little accessories, just everything. You know, even the little logo and the printing and everything on it, and the little details of how they assembled it. Let me show you the back of this. You know, everything is just completely overbuilt. I've never found a case that's made like this, so that's just why I've just hung on to this, even after I sold almost everything I owned that was PC related and downgraded to almost nothing. I hung on to my baby. This is my Soldam XR-1 Black Knight, and I love it. I guess it's time for me to dust it out and haul it back up to the house. I use my compressor to clean my computer's butt. I don't just run the air out of it. This is a dryer, a line dryer, and this extracts all the water out of the air before it gets to the schnozzle. And if you're cleaning your computer with a compressor, you should consider the fact that these things push a lot of water out with the air, unless you use a line dryer, which probably isn't the best thing for your computer. I also keep the pressure relatively low. You see I'm down to about 40, so when I hit it, yeah, it's running about 40 psi. I don't hit it with like 150 psi or anything, because I don't want to tear the thing to pieces. You can literally blow components off of the circuit boards if you hit it with too high of pressure. And of course you don't want to be pushing water into anything, right? But yeah, it works fine. It doesn't take much to clean this. And you know, do that all through the inside and the hard drive cage and every little area that there's dust, and pretty soon you got a clean computer. Well, it's all dedusted, and I'm in the process of reassembling it. I just thought I'd point out that this case only has 3 case fans. It's got 2 140 millimeter fans and a 92 millimeter fan. And if I could find a decent 92 pair of 92s, I might have 2 on the back. But I've been running it for many years with just 1, and it seems to work. You'd think, how in the world can this case keep cool if this is the only place the air comes out? But it does. It does stay cool. There's this little thing here. I have a feeling that there's an additional fan that you could probably buy from Soldam if you figure out how. Similar to the Lian Li pancake fan that goes on the side. But somehow or another, it works. Which kind of goes contrary to the notion most people have of having like 12 fans all over their case, side panel fans, top fans, bottom fans, front fans, back fans. This whole case has 3 fans on it. And of course it's got the power supply fan, but this is the only vent. And there it is, back together. The only thing I really changed is I decided to try out the little DVD deal. There, cover that up. And there it is, dust-free, relatively clean, and ready to go back into service. So it's a Soldam XR-1, the NRS. It's got a Black Knight finish on it. Really beautiful case, in my opinion. It's my baby.